It's 11 at night. In an endless ocean of novelty, your brain chooses the same island, the same episode, the same joke you already know by heart. And the first thing you think is, there's something wrong with me. Society tells you it's laziness, that it's a lack of curiosity. I'm going to tell you what biology says. It's a symptom of a nervous system that operates on an entirely different level. While 99% of the population is hypnotized by the relentless hunt for the next empty stimulus, your organism isn't searching for novelty. It demands mastery. The average brain sees a story and discards it. Your brain sees a pattern, a system, and it replays it not for comfort, but to master it. It's extracting every last drop of emotional and strategic information, turning passive entertainment into a behavioral simulation lab. This isn't a flaw. It's the signature of a mind that rejects superficial chaos to optimize its internal patterns. Think about this. Which brain is biologically more efficient? The one that needs a constant stream of superficial data to feel engaged, or the one capable of finding infinite depth in a single set of information? That relentless need for something new isn't a sign of a vibrant mind. It's the sign of a flawed biological system, one incapable of extracting depth from what it already has. A mind that lives on the surface because it lacks the capacity to dive deep. There's a fundamental biological reason your brain does this, and it has nothing to do with nostalgia or safety. It's about power and cognitive efficiency, and science already has a name for it. You're not strange, you're rare, and you're about to understand exactly why your brain separated you from the herd for good. This isn't an opinion, it's neuroscience. While the average brain spends its energy just decoding the basics, yours operates on a processing level that requires biological recalibration. What pop psychology calls cognitive load is, for you, the actual energy cost of perceiving the world in high definition. Every decision, every interaction, every piece of subtext you analyze isn't just a thought, it's a real caloric burn. So when you find yourself drawn to the familiar, you're not running away, you're optimizing. Researchers at the Max Planck Institute for Human Cognitive and Brain Sciences found something that completely shatters the idea of mental laziness. Repeating a complex stimulus doesn't just reinforce memory, it physically thickens the myelin sheaths on the neurons involved, the very substance that insulates your neural pathways and accelerates signal transmission. Your brain isn't rewatching a story. It's rebuilding itself to process that type of information with an efficiency that borders on superhuman, turning neural pathways into high-speed superhighways. And that chemical reward your brain releases during this process, most people think it's all about pleasure. But a 2011 study from the University of Michigan revealed the true function of this mechanism, and it's far more strategic than you can imagine. This is all confirmed by the work of Dr. Harvard's Randy Buckner, showed that what people call a wandering mind is actually your brain's default mode network running complex internal simulations, solving problems in the background while your conscious mind is off duty. You're not shutting down, you're stepping into your own internal lab. But if this neural architecture is so efficient, why does the world insist you're broken? The world wasn't built for you. It was designed for the biological average, for the brain that demands a constant stream of cheap, disposable stimuli just to function. The economy, entertainment, the very fabric of our society, it's all built on this mass hypnosis of consuming what's new. Because the average brain needs that noise. It can't generate complexity from within, so it has to hunt for it on the outside. Yours can. That's why what they call being stuck in the past is, in reality, your advanced nervous system refusing to run on low-quality data. This isn't an escape from reality. It's a calculated rejection of the mediocre. The guilt you feel isn't yours. It was installed in you by the tyranny of the new, a system that punishes depth and rewards shallow consumption. Your brain isn't going backwards, it's being selective. That habit of yours, it's not a comfort mechanism. It's a biological calibration protocol. You're not just replaying a story. You are running simulations of social and emotional dynamics in a controlled environment to sharpen your responses for the real world. Real life is a poorly written script, with characters who disappear and conflicts that are never resolved. It's unpredictable and energetically costly for a brain that's wired for deep processing. In that controlled environment, you're not looking for the safety of a predictable ending. You're using that predictability to isolate variables, to study human nature in its purest form, to train your emotional radar without the static of chaos. They mistake your training chamber for a cage. But the biology behind this need proves that this isn't a weakness. It's your evolutionary advantage. Pop psychology hands you a consolation prize, a label they call a parasocial relationship, this one-sided bond you form with fictional characters. But that's just a surface-level description, an attempt to categorize a behavior they don't understand at its biological core. What your brain is doing is infinitely more sophisticated. Think back to that University of Michigan study on dopamine. It proved the biggest release of that neurotransmitter doesn't happen when you get the reward, but in the anticipation of it. For the average biology, this drives an addiction to novelty, that constant search for the next stimulus, the endless scrolling that keeps the herd hypnotized. In your brain, however, that mechanism has been fine-tuned for a higher purpose. The anticipation of a known and mastered pattern, of a scene you've already seen dozens of times, releases dopamine as a reward for your predictive precision. Your brain isn't looking for a cheap thrill. It's rewarding itself for being right, for mastering a single variable in a chaotic world. This is a mechanism of mastery, not escape. This isn't a personality flaw. It's the very blueprint for what I call the Sentinel Brain. In any ancestral tribe, most people were explorers, always pushing for new territory, the next food source. But a small, biologically distinct minority evolved for a far more critical role. They were the sentinels. Their job wasn't to chase the new, it was to master the known, down to the finest detail, so they could spot the slightest change, the smallest deviation from the baseline, that sound that doesn't belong, the shadow that moves just a little off. This is an elite survival mechanism. Your brain isn't hiding from the world when it revisits something familiar. It's running drills in a controlled environment. It's calibrating its detection system to perceive threats and opportunities that the average person, numbed by the constant chase for novelty, would completely miss. That feeling you call comfort. That's just the side effect of a brain operating at peak efficiency. The dopamine hit isn't there to make you happy. It's there to reinforce the training, to turn you into a master of pattern recognition. Knowing your brain is wired this way is one thing, but learning to use this advantage as the weapon it was designed to be, well, that's something else entirely. This is the very point where you judge yourself the harshest, the productivity culture. That collective hypnosis telling you that you should always be consuming what's new, what's complex, what's efficient, accuses you of wasting your time. That's the noise of the herd. You're not wasting time. You're in a biological training ground. And now, I'm going to give you the protocol to turn this very habit into a strategic edge. Stop apologizing for it. Start using it deliberately. First, run an active analysis. Stop watching passively and ask your system, what is the core pattern it's working to master here? It's not about the characters, it's about the underlying dynamic. Is it a simulation of loyalty, betrayal, the rise and fall of power? Your brain isn't resting. It's obsessed with decoding one specific variable of the human condition until it has it mastered. That is the very skill it's sharpening in secret. Second, turn every rewatch into a behavioral laboratory. With each viewing, you're going to isolate a different variable. On one pass, ignore the dialogue completely and focus only on the nonverbal cues. On the next, map the architecture of the conflicts, who submits, who dominates, and why. Then, analyze the economy of favors and social debts that truly drives the plot. You're not watching a story. You're extracting data from a closed system to understand how open systems, like the real world, truly operate. You're not hiding from the world. You're building a model of it so you can dominate it. Third, and this is the most critical part, apply these patterns on the actual battlefield. The ability your brain has sharpened to predict a character's next move is the exact same one that lets you anticipate an objection in a negotiation. The intuition you've developed for who's about to betray who on screen is the very same one that alerts you to shaky alliances in your professional life. You're not watching a show. You're calibrating your behavioral prediction radar, while everyone else is just reacting to the chaos. You're starting to see the script behind it all. You see the architecture where others only see randomness. Most people have already clicked away from this video. Their brains wired for shallow novelty simply can't handle this level of depth. The fact you're still here is all the proof you need. Your biological system doesn't just seek entertainment, it craves mastery. So, use the comment section not as a fan, but as an analyst. If you've made it this far, your brain has already proven it operates differently. Answer this. What's the one pattern your system insists on running over and over? And what real-world advantage is it giving you? If you've made it this far, you already know the truth. You're not someone who settles for comfort. You are a biological systems analyst. And that's not a flaw. It's a strategic advantage most people will never grasp. If your mind finds the pattern where others see chaos, if you decode systems by instinct, then you already belong here. The subscribe button isn't a favor, it's just the formality that confirms you've found your tribe. And the like, that's not for me either. It's a signal to the algorithm to find the others like us, the ones who are out there blaming themselves for this exact same edge, and to show them that they aren't alone. So if you've understood that your brain is built to decipher the world, the next step is to start using that power actively. The video appearing on your screen now, that's the field guide for turning passive analysis into a real-world edge. If this video opened your eyes to what you truly are, that next one is going to hand you the controls to that ability. Remember, you don't need to change who you are, you just need to understand who you are. And now,